Thank you so much for being here. I am so excited to be here with Janet. We're your M&M host of the Marketing and Money Show. We're here to make powerful connections for you as small business owners. So I'm Catherine Morales. I'm an accredited PR marketing professional. I'm owner of Inflection Point Communications, and I call myself the Authentic Brand Strategist. What that means to you is that I help your authentic self to be seen in your business.
Lovely. Hi, Catherine. It's so great to
Thanks, Janet.
I loved it, Catherine. And I'm so happy to be here with you today as well. And I'm happy for all of our audience members listening with us today. So if my name is Janet Mercredi, and I'm the owner and founder of my company called JKM Strategies, and I am the Purposeful Profit Strategist, helping small business owners to know their numbers so they can be the driver's seat in their own finances.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Janet, we have to give, we connected, shout out to Dames. We connected through a group called Dames. It's for six-figure business women across the country and globally, because actually you're in Canada, right, Janet?
I am. I am in Saskatchewan,
This is an international
Canada.
show. I love it. Yeah, and Janet and I connected and what, a couple months ago?
Yeah, I'd say sometime I think in August, because I recently just joined the Dames in May. And so our profiles kind of crossed paths, and we had a meet and greet.
I think it was incidental that we were introduced, though. Which
it kind of was. Yeah, it kind of was.
Very serendipitous.
Yeah, it was. Hey, everything happens for a reason. It was meant to be, Catherine, 100% meant to be.
Yeah, and so when we were talking, you know, I said that the seed had been planted in me years ago by a CPA about how, you know, gosh, people spend their marketing dollars or their dollars in weird ways with marketing.
Yeah.
And we started talking about that and really, you know, we connected around the philosophy of putting yourself first. So what does that mean for profit first? Because I've heard of it, but I don't really know all about it. So please let me know.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So Profit First, in case anybody is wondering, it is a book. It was written by Mike Michalowicz in 2014, I believe. So there is a book out there. However, on top of that, there's also a certification. So I go through extensive training doing more than just reading the book. And so how I have
thankfully.
So, you know, I've kind of been doing it for a while. So how I've amalgamated it into my own coaching practice and bookkeeping firm is I've taken because Profit First, when it really comes down to it, it's a tool. It's a tool to get you what you want. But what is not written in the book, because of course the book is written for masses, right? It's not specifically tailored. So that's where I come in as a certified Profit First professional. I'll come in and I'll actually specifically tailor what it is you're looking for. So we work a little bit on mindset. We work a little bit on the strategy. And so I've amalgamated it. My theory is that you're running a business for a reason. And generally, if you're anything like me, it's not to work more hours than you did previously. And it's not to have no money in your bank account to show for it. It's not to work 7 days a week. Of course, if it is, then that's great. That's, you know, that's you do you. But generally, that's not why I started my business, and most entrepreneurs as well. So working on the mindset behind it is it's very specific to putting yourself first. And so, because the reasoning is a lot of business owners, there is no university class to teach you how to run a business. There's no community college about it. There's no, you know,
it's all the ins and outs, at least.
All the ins and outs come with it, right? So but what there is School of Hard Knocks, and the School of Hard Knocks, and there's lots of Googling you can do, and even now Chat GPT and all that, and it's all like, how do I invest?
How to run a business?
How to run a business? How to grow a business? How to invest with my business? Right?
Right.
And you're going to get all kinds of articles, and the one article you're not going to get is how to serve you, the person, the owner of the business, and do all of those things that you're reading about online.
Amen. Yeah.
So that's what I do. So I put you first, and then I show you, because I'm using the tools of the Profit First methodologies, then I'm showing how to do both. Yeah. Essentially. Yeah.
Is the Profit First you? like you profit first? Is that
Yeah.
the whole philosophy? Okay.
Yeah. The whole philosophy is that you need a reward for doing what you're doing.
Amen.
And so we do that, right? Because again, generally when, like, let's think of it this way. If you ever have a goal in your life that you want to achieve and you don't put it first, what usually happens to it? Just in general, any goal, doesn't have to be money related, but any goal that you have. If you ever have said yourself, you have a goal that you want to achieve and you don't write it down, you don't read it every day, you don't put it first, what generally happens?
I'm going to guess it's similar to New Year's resolutions.
Yeah. It doesn't happen. That's the point.
Yeah. By January 15th, it's gone.
Yeah. Because it doesn't happen. It
out of sight, out of mind.
Ignored. Exactly. It gets ignored. So when we're working with money, we do take our profit first. And that profit can be, it might even be $100 a month. It doesn't matter the dollar figure. It's the philosophy behind it that you are giving yourself a reward for all of the hard work that you're doing in your business, which is why you and I connected so well, because you do the same thing when you're talking about marketing with your people.
Yeah. I was like, preach, Janet, preach.
Yeah. Preach it, preach it. It's all about being you and putting yourself first. So I do it with the money and you do it with the marketing. Yeah.
And I love what you just said. Like, you know, it's about rewarding yourself and how you'll essentially, I think the question asked is like, are you forgetting yourself in your business?
Yeah.
You know, and I would say, are you like with marketing, so much of marketing is, you know, how do you want to be perceived? And with branding, right? Like, let's put that out there.
Yeah.
But, you know, that is a thought. Is it truly your intentions? Is it truly aligned with who you are? I think what gets you into business is that passion and that purpose. And then we forget it somewhere along the way. And then maybe a few years into business, we're like, why do I hate my clients? Not that I ever say that, because no, I love my clients, but it takes effort. It takes effort. Like, it's not just here's what I do and here's, you know, my sales shtick, you know, that was butchered. Sales shtick. There we go. It's not just that, because yes, you might attract some people, but it puts you in a rat race, right?
It does. Yeah.
Where the other person's selling the similar or same thing as you. I put same like this because it's never the same.
No.
You know, is racing to that networking event, the BNI or what have you.
Yeah.
And you feel this pressure to constantly be selling. Whereas if you really get in touch with, okay, why am I doing this business and what can I wholly own? I always say, why me and only me, or why you and only you?
Yeah.
Then what is really interesting, because I've been doing this for a number of years now, helping, you know, clients to be authentically seen, is when you connect with that, there's this natural interconnection with the people you're meant to serve.
100%.
Really, you're connecting around the values, right? So it's like, I say, like moth to flame, you attract your right someones. So
yeah, and I fully believe that, which is another reason why we hit it off and why we decided to do
right?
this.
We're like, we have to get
yeah, we're like, okay, we have too many similarities. But yeah, no, 100%, because it's not about just getting the next sale. It's about who are you meant to serve. I have a business coach, and that's what he always said to me. He's like, who do you do your best work with, Janet? Like, who are you meant to serve? You are you. There's nobody else in the world like you. And as my parents would say, they broke the mold when we made you, Janet. I'm like, 100%. But it's so true. And so all I do is because I have the tools at my disposal and the strategies and the calculators, I just help you put your money to that same philosophy of putting you first. You're doing it with the marketing and being authentically you. But it really does come down to, don't forget who you are as a person. Don't forget why you started your business in the first place and who it is you're meant to serve. All I do is align your money to that habit and that behavior. That's all it is.
Well, what's interesting too, from a branding and marketing perspective, is that, you know, sometimes it's so true what they say in life, like we need others to see ourselves clearly.
Yeah.
So, you know, one method of, you know, looking at this is like looking back at the emails that your clients, you know, the right someones that you're serving that you would just wish you could clone. Like, look at what they're saying, or even call them up and ask them, you know, what is it like to work with me? You know, What do you value most? Because the words that come out of their mouth, even if you can't articulate it right now, are the beginning of really discovering that.
Yes.
Because yes, they'll talk about the what, like, oh, I really, valued when you got me my number. I mean, I shouldn't even do yours, Janet. But like, I valued when you helped me do X, Y, or Z, right? But then it's always about like the essence of you, right?
Yes.
The essence, especially in services, right?
Yes.
So it's about the experience and how it makes them feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've heard this number, but I always have heard that 70% of the purchase decision is emotional.
Oh,
and yet,
yeah.
So why are we speaking all to, the what of the problem, right?
That's right. That's right. And, good point for bringing that up, because I quite often in my line of work, because I'm in the money side of things, emotion is huge.
You said mindset and emotions attached to that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. And I mean, it's always to do with how to do something. And it's one thing we talk about quite often in amongst my circles of other coaches like myself with my tribe, is somebody will come to you and you might get a quick email that says, hey, can you help me get out of debt? Sure, I can help you do that.
You get an email that just says that.
I can give them a strategy, but nobody wants to get out of debt. They don't want to get out of debt because getting out of debt takes work. Getting out of debt can be long depending on what you have for debt, right? It might, I can give you a plan and it might say that you are 5 years down the road from getting out of debt. Nobody wants to get out of debt. It's hard work. It's like nobody wants to diet to lose 50 pounds because it's hard work. I have to eat right. I have to exercise. I have to get my butt out of bed to make it happen. What they want is what happens as a result of getting out of debt, as a result of losing the 50 pounds. That's emotion. That's the emotion that gets them there. So that's why, so when we're talking
about the desire, right? Like they'll
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because nobody wants hard work. And I'm not, no disclaimer here, guys. Like, don't crash the internet because
we are creatures of comfort for sure.
I mean, if I can sit all day and eat bonbons on my couch and watch TV and have all this stuff magically happen for me, I would too. But I know that's not right. And it's not going to happen in my life, right? I want to lose 50 pounds. I got to get off my butt to do the work to do it. And so, because
I am going to eat my M&Ms after this, though.
I am going to eat my M&Ms after this. Yes, 100%.
It's too on brand for us, Janet.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it really is. M&M, money and marketing and money. Yeah.
And our last names.
Yes, I know. Yeah. So it really does. It's not you're right. 70% is built on emotion because it's what's happening after whatever that hard work is done. And I'm not saying done. There's still maintenance, of course. You still got to, just because I lose 50 pounds doesn't mean I can't maintain it. Like I can't go back to eating nothing but ice cream and M&Ms, right? But I do have to maintain it and I still have to change my lifestyle. And so money is the same thing. When you understand its purpose, when you understand your why you're doing it, because it goes back to you. Why did you start your business? Why are you doing what you're doing? Because we get so inundated in our businesses, working in the business, that we forget that along the way. And it's very easy to do. And it's no fault of anybody. It's just very easy to do because the running of the business takes over. And we're like, oh, we got to do this. Oh, we got to answer this email. No, we got to do this. We got to create this landing page and we got to do this thing. And we got to do this, live, even if it's a LinkedIn live, like we got to do all these things, right? So we forget our why. We forget.
And I think marketing is a huge culprit of that. Like, it's full of all the shoulds, like you should be doing this. I heard you mention a few like marketing things in there. And I think that if I can go back to, I think that the same thing happens for, I don't want to get out of debt, but a similar thing happens with, oh, I just want more clients. I really want, or I need more clients. And the thing is, I think what differentiates a large business, because I've worked with corporate, from, solopreneurs and smaller businesses, and, the blessing of how they can do it different is that interpersonal relationships, right? Yes. And I think that the why for them is always going to be connected on some level, to how they can impact and serve others. So it's not just about a client. It's about the impact that they want to make, right?
Yeah.
And so often, even down to what they're offering, I learned this in my own journey, and now I teach others it. But, you know, I had at one point like an 8-month program, and I had a business coach, probably a couple of years of my business, say to me, so what would happen if you took them on the full journey?
Oh.
And I looked and I was like, oh yeah, that's, you know, I was delivering to what I thought they would accept. Right. Price point, time frame, all of that. And it was such a blessing for that coach to say, imagine what's possible if you truly had the impact you desire. So I think that's a beautiful exercise. But then to market, to attract that, it's not going to be an avatar or a specific, I mean, yes, use demographic data to help, but so often we don't talk about what I call the psychographics, right? So that gets to the emotions.
That's right.
And, you know, I think that when you can start to think about, you know, the values you hold in your business and how you want to serve those right someones, as I call it, then you can start to articulate that in a meaningful way. And I say it's like if you walked into Starbucks and you called out Janet, and there's only one Janet sitting in there, like, you know, she's going to turn around. But if you called out, you know, some other thing like coffee, everybody turn around, right? Like, so it's like, I guess, let me give definition to that example. It's like, you know, oh, I sell marketing services and branding. You know, that's not really going to get everyone. I mean, that's going to like, not going to stand out in any way. But if I say I sell, you know, I help others to show up authentically, the right someone's in the room, in the coffee room, as the imaginary situation is here, are going to tune in. And so that's what we really try to do is create the resonance with the right people. Because if you have everyone in a coffee shop turning around looking at you, you think you want that. And then you're on hours of, you know, prospect calls and everybody's kicking tires.
Yep. 100%. Because I find that if in that same coffee room, and I spell out.
Thank you for going back in the coffee room.
I love it. Well, hey, again, how we resonated with each other, because I mean, I'm a huge coffee drinker, so I've already had 2 cups today, and I'll have 3 more this afternoon. But going back on the coffee room, in the coffee room, it's the same thing as, you know, I could stand there in the middle of the room and say, who doesn't know anything about their money, or who wants help with money, or who wants to get out of debt with money, or, you know, that kind of thing. And everybody would put up their hand if they actually do, because money's a very personal thing.
They might be like,
they might be one of these, which is okay too. Like, so I find it's more so who wants peace of mind with their money, who wants to create financial security, who wants to have security for their family. That's my right some people, because I'm a business owner. And here's the thing with being a business owner that a lot of business owners might not understand. And just because it's not in the school of hard knocks when it comes to the books and the Googling and whatnot. Yeah. But when it really comes down to it, your income level is unlimited. Yeah. Because you're a business owner. And when you understand.
The US
too.
Right.
And this story goes back to, we were sitting around, it was earlier this spring. We were having a fire pit in the backyard with my family, with my husband and my sister-in-law and their husbands and brother-in-laws and whatnot. And everybody somehow we started talking about money. And they started talking about, oh, well, it must have been in May, because usually a lot of businesses are fiscal year end April. So the employees start getting their bonuses in April, or, you know, a raise and that kind of thing. And so everybody, and they're all job people, they're all employees in their respective rights. And I'm not, right? I'm a business owner. And so everybody's talking about what they make, what their raise is. They're getting a, you know, X dollar raise per hour, per minute, whatever it is, per year, whatever the topic was. Yeah. And then they looked at me and they said, well, Janet, what about you? I'm like, my income is unlimited because it's about me. Like, and I said, it sounds crass and it sounds braggy and I get what it sounds like. But that's the thing that as a business owner, you have to understand. And that's where you put yourself first is you're, again, go back to your why. Why are you doing this? You need to be rewarded for it, which is where the take your profit first comes into play, and take your paycheck first comes into play. Yeah. Because as a business owner, you can always make money. You can sign a new client tomorrow. You might sign one. Catherine might sign a new client today off this live. Guess what? She just made more money, right?
Right.
But if you don't understand how the money flows in and out of the business, what its job is, your income could stay the same as non-existent or a little bit or not. So that's so in reality, as a business owner, you are the one. So you have to put yourself first.
Yeah. I think I love that example, but I think what's interesting, I'm going to go back to mindset, because I feel like, you know, what's beautiful about owning your own business is that, yes, the sky's the limit.
Mm-hmm.
What always gets in the way for people, and why do businesses fail at such high rates, you know, within the first 5 years and really 10 years? And I would argue that it is mindset, because there's something about the psychology of, oh yeah, you don't have a ceiling over you. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And some people stretch and grow past that automatically. But a lot of people, you know, make it harder than it has to be. They shrink, actually, when you say the sky's the limit. So, and it's interesting too with authentically showing up, you know, oh, I think I can start a business without actually being seen, right? Like, oh, you mean I have to, I need to get on a stage, or I need to go network, or I need to, right? And I think COVID really impacted all of those things. And so, I think, you know, it's interesting because I have a podcast as well. And I tell, you know, what I call authenticity, the good to grow it, or the growing to good, excuse me. And so I tell those stories, and I interviewed actually a bookkeeper and former client of mine who calls herself the introverted networker. And she talked about how she learned, like, pushed herself, and you know, to become that way, and brought her daughter along with her. And I think that the thing that I say about authentically showing up and marketing your business, and, you know, really putting yourself first with the way that you market is, you know, like I said, marketing's full of the shoulds. So you should be out there speaking on stages. You should be doing lives. You should be doing this. Put that crap aside and really think about, okay, where do you feel the greatest joy? What feels easier when you market your business? And then for those areas that, you know, yes, I think most businesses need to be on social media, but you don't necessarily need to be omnipresent on every channel. What I say for small businesses is be clear, have clear presence. Where do you need to be, and where do you want to be to connect with those right someones? But if you know, when COVID happened, I joked, I said, I used to take stages all the time and speak for my business. And when COVID came about, I was like, oh, I don't have the stage anymore. And then everybody was doing, you know, video and stuff. And I got all the equipment. And then I had a pause because I just didn't feel right about it. I was like, okay, something's in the way. What is it? I should be doing this, right? And the thing is, I realized that it was the first time I really had to see myself, right, on video. I could take a stage and I didn't have to look at myself, right? And suddenly, oh my gosh, I'd been like, what, 5 years in business at that point, and I managed to not see myself. But this is the truth. You know, I talk about it because this is the truth of what people experience. You're afraid to fully be seen. Well, lo and behold, I get on this like webinar that I'm doing, and I get a recording afterwards, and I watched it back, and I realized I had some weird, like I can't even do it now. Like, I've probably already done it, but like a weird mouth thing, like, you know, and I literally was like, I played it back for my husband, and I was like, look at this. And I'm like, do I do this? And he goes, yeah, you've done that for like ever. And I was like, I had this like moment of, oh my God. And at first I was like, can I untrain it? Like, what? But then I was like, it's my weird little quirk, you know, like, and I really learned to embrace all of me. Like, those are the things that we shouldn't be afraid to hide. Those are the things that, not that I'm going to say people want to work with me because I have a weird mouth thing, but they are drawn to the authenticity. Imagine, I mean, we see it on social media, but when you're, you know, talking with a group of friends and someone's just, it is a level of raw, but raw when you're ready. Like when someone just is willing to be seen and witnessed in some way, and you serve people in that way, it changes the whole, people lean in. It's a natural attractor.
100%. I used to say, I used to joke all the time that, because I mean, I can be witty. So when you really get to know me, like, so the wit can come out and a little bit of sarcasm. So, you know.
Oh, yeah.
that
My
does come out.
6-year-old already knows what sarcasm is.
Yeah.
She
So,
calls it sarcasm.
sarcasm. There we go. I like that. That's a prettier way of saying it.
Are you being sarcastic, Mama? Yes.
Love it.
Yes, I
Love
am.
it. Love it. I used to say all the time, I don't care what my hair looks like because I'm not the one looking at it. You are.
Right.
So when you're talking about being seen and having video and because COVID, I mean, and that's definitely one of the lessons COVID taught us for sure.
Yeah.
It's taught us many, many others.
Yeah.
Some negative, some positive. Obviously, it's huge. It's not something any of us ever, thought we'd ever live through.
Right.
But yeah, 100%, because it's like I used to always say, like, I'm from a very small town, Saskatchewan, Canada. And when I mean small town, I mean like 500 people, small town.
Wow.
And so the people that I grew up with in school, I've known since literally the day I was born, because our moms we all knew each other. It's a small town.
Yeah.
And so I used to say, like, that I used to, I wear a lot of hoodies and sweatpants. I'm very casual. And so I even wrote a post about
Thank you for not wearing the hoodie today, Janet.
I didn't put the hoodie on today because it's too warm in here, but normally I do. But the thing of it is what I wear does not. I mean, I get the whole you should show up in a professional manner and wear this and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I get all that. But when it comes right down to it, what I wear when I'm working with people has nothing to do with how I can help transform them. And so to be authentic to themselves. And so I used to say, I used to wear hoodies and sweatpants all the time to high school. And I don't know if your high school was anything like mine. Mine's probably 10 times worse because it was that much smaller. You have the cliques and you're like, why are you wearing that, Janet? Why would you be wearing, you should be wearing jeans. I'm like, I shouldn't be wearing jeans. I'm like, dude, you didn't want to date me in grade 7. How has that changed? You don't want to date me in grade 12 either. What's the difference? How I show up, this is me. Like, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to impress me.
Yeah. And begin there. No,
So
my high school had, I went to an art school. There were 80 of us graduating class. And my best friend wore PJs to high school. So
there you go. Yeah. I'm all about being me.
Be seen, just as you are.
When you talk about it for COVID and what it taught you and showing up on video, and you didn't realize you had that little mouth quirk, but to your husband, it's adoring, and it's
right,
and it's who he is, and he's like, you don't need to change anything. And of course, our husbands see us through rose-colored glasses, right? Because they like it unconditionally, But at the same time, it's like, this is who I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And if the right, you're right, some people are going to be attracted to it, and the ones who aren't is okay. And that's the other thing that
we're not meant to serve everyone.
That's right. And that's the other reason why you and I resonated so well on our very first coffee chat, was because we're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it sticks, right? We're here for, there's how many millions of people in the world, but your message is to be you, and the right people will come to you. My message is I might show up in hoodies on our call, but if you're right for me, it doesn't matter. So just be you. That's really what it all comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will just, if I can, I know we're running close on time. We like to stay true to that, but I just want to also give another layer, since we're talking about, resonance and people and connecting. It's about being you, but I use the term right someone's because I think that if we do liken it to high school or dating when we're younger, I don't know about you, but, in my 20s, I had this list. I honestly think I did have a list, but the tall, dark, handsome, all these things, right? And what happens is by the time you're really ready to settle down and you get past all that crap, you realize that probably the person you end up with has some of those things on the list, but there's a lot else that you never even thought that you wanted. And so I liken like the avatars and all of that to it as well, because we're walking around with this list of this plastic figure, Ken doll or Barbie that we want and think we want. And in reality, we just want to work with the real person. We want to, through COVID, especially, I don't know your thoughts on this with money, but like, everything changed for people. And I, my clients could come to me and, if they needed a pause or whatever, I worked out payment plans and we worked through it. because we could, witness the truth for one another in that moment, right? And give grace. And I think that that's the kind of business that people want to be in right now.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
so I would say authenticity and putting you first, as well as like in doing that, you allow yourself to see others for who they authentically are.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's I think the way things are going to go. But let's give everyone a true purposeful connection here at the end. Do you want to share a takeaway, Janet? What should we be doing? This powerful connection.
This powerful connection. So my biggest takeaway is, if you've been in business for quite a few years, 5, 10 years, whatever it is, and you haven't done this for a while, my biggest takeaway would be, give yourself a period of time, give yourself some grace, give yourself some space to literally go back and remember why you're doing what you're doing. And now here's the thing. I might get some people to say, well, I know my why. I want to do X, Y, Z. Okay, that's cool. But just remember, when you've been in business for the seasons that you have been in business, that why you wrote 10 years ago has likely evolved, because you are a human being and you have evolved.
Right.
So what you wrote down 10 years from now ago could have evolved. And if it's still the same, awesome, perfect, great. Then I would just say, put it somewhere you can read it. Put it behind on your wall, put it on your bedroom mirror, put it on your bathroom mirror, wherever it is. You have to stay connected to your why, because when the hard work sets in and you get an email from somebody whom you don't really want to deal with, or you have a, something hard comes into play, you need to remember why you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then, as I usually say, put a dollar figure on it and figure out what that looks like in your personal life as well for your money.
I love that. Yeah. Well, I'll give a takeaway from a marketing perspective. I think that also ties in with why. So if you're wondering, okay, great, authenticity sounds good, but how the hell do I get in touch with that? What I say is like, yeah, it's true.
It's true. Yep.
So what happens in most of marketing is you're out there, with your messages, right? And you're busy telling people why your business is the best, why your business is the one to work with over the competitor's business. And in that framework, it's why I am, right? Why my business is. So I say, flip the script. Can't speak.
Love it.
So take a moment, whatever, why we're the most innovative, why we're the most, whatever that adjective is, take that and ask yourself, why am I, or why are we, if you're a group business, why are we innovative? Why am I innovative? This exercise, when you ask that, don't just write one sentence, like actually, dare I say, journal. Yes, journal with yourself and see what comes up. Because I've been doing this for years for myself and for my clients, and it always goes back to the journey only you've taken.
Yep.
One of my words is curiosity, creativity too, but curiosity. And it brought me back to a church, being in church at 10 years old, and it's part of my founder's story.
Oh, okay. So, maybe we do that on the next live, because we are at 33 minutes and we do want
to. I know. I was going to. Oh, don't worry. That's the cliffhanger.
Yeah, that's the cliffhanger, because I know you and I could talk for hours, 100%.
Yeah. But take that. Why am I, or why are we? And give yourself, 30 minutes and journal on it and just see what comes up for you. Because I guarantee it will be a introduction to your authenticity and why you and only you.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Okay. And I'm going to say one more thing really quick.
Yeah.
Take it one step further. Take that authenticity, take that why you're doing what you're doing, and then allow yourself another 30 minutes, if that's what it takes, to dream about what you truly want.
I love it.
And that could be anything. It could be, I want to own a boat and sail the world. It could be, I want to buy a house in Mexico, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Anything you want. Take a moment and give yourself time to dream about what you want. Yeah. And then when you want to know how to get it, that's when you talk to Catherine and I.
I love it. I think that's so important, Janet. People often say, oh, yeah, like my mother, one day I'll go to Turks and Caicos. And now she's mid-70s. And I'm like, Mom, you want to go to Turks and Caicos? Oh, right. We can spend our whole lives kind of throwing away the dream. Like you'll say it, but you don't really attach to it. Yep. So I think that's such a great call to action, Janet. And okay, We gotta stop. But oh my God, big hugs from the US to Canada, and big hugs to y'all for being here. Thank you so much for being at our first show for Marketing and Money. And I can't wait to see y'all next time.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Janet.
Talk to you soon. Thanks, Catherine.
Thank you.